Hello subscribers, welcome to your weekly exclusive series, James and Loki's Gems of the Week. You know, you may just want a break from the forecast review series videos. I'm getting a little break from the forecast video review series to record this. I did the first 11. I probably have 11 more to go, or something like that. But I'm going to take the next hour or so. You know exactly how long it's going to be. I don't, because I haven't recorded it yet. And feed Loki his breakfast. This is an episode of Breakfast with Loki, my co-host. And walk you through all the videos that I liked, not videos, all the posts on X that I liked over the previous week and talk about them. But first, let's grab Loki his breakfast. Yes? There you go, buddy. There you go. Okay. And if Loki decides he wants to come over and eat his breakfast, I'll move the Loki's bed cam so you don't miss a second of the thrilling action here in the Loki's bed cam. But I'll be over here in the big window, talking through all the posts on X that I liked over the previous week. I'll probably screw up and say tweets on Twitter later on, but I'm in good company there with the person who owns the thing. Elon Musk does sometimes still say Twitter and tweets. So this was the last tweet that we reviewed last week from Yashu Sharma at Hey It's Yashu, with Brian White at 4K Podcast, a man of many faces and identities and handles. He's also the My Tesla Weekend guy on YouTube. So they were at an event, a fully charged event in the Pacific Northwest, I believe. I never go anywhere or do anything, so I don't know about such things. But the next tweet that I liked came from Elon Alerts, at Elon Alerts. Just letting me know, thanks bot, that Elon liked the video that I posted last week about how Tesla is expected by S&P Global and IHS Markit to grow their sales by roughly as much as 12 other major automakers combined will from 2021 to 2028. So every year, Tesla is supposed to grow by more than every year for the next 5 years, Tesla is supposed to grow by more than they're going to grow over a 7-year period combined. That's pretty funny. And I said Tesla will beat that forecast if Elon Musk has anything to say about it. This like means that he agrees with that assessment, or he wouldn't have liked it, is how I read that. You're welcome to read it some other way if you wish. So that was that tweet that I liked. And go watch that video if you want. It's still up, of course, from September 9th. That's been 8 days now. All right, next tweet is from executive producer of this program and CEO of Rebellionaire, Bradford Ferguson, at Brad S. Ferguson on X. Even if legacy automakers can profitably make electric vehicles, the lack of growth, in my opinion, makes them uninvestable in comparison. Yeah, why are you going to invest in any one of these legacy automakers that have no growth planned for the next 5 years, right? Why would you park your money there, even if they are trading at a PE of 4? So, I mean, it's very uncertain what their future is. You talk about GM and Ford and Stellantis at the mercy of the United Auto Workers strike and needing to negotiate probably very hefty pay increases. So their cost of labor is going to go up. That means their profitability is going to decline. So that's one good reason why they're trading at a PE of 4. Their earnings are going to decline after they start paying their workers more of the leftover money that they have. All right, here's one from Rodman. Rodman took the X account RODAMN, I think because somebody else already had the Rodman account. And if this brand retention data is accurate and remains so into the future, the more people who try Tesla and stick with them causes an ever-diminishing pool of buyers for legacy to sell to. Yeah, people who buy a Tesla are extremely likely when they buy another EV to buy a Tesla again. It's like 95%, according to independent research that I saw on Automotive News or Autoline. Had a guest who said that, and I shared that video on X at the time. It was Twitter at the time. Similar to what happened with iPhone until the market reached saturation. So, yeah, here's Tesla way over here. So all the way up on the y-axis, this is the share of RTM. If you want to read this chart, brands above the horizontal line have a higher share of nomads returning to market than industry. Brands to the right of the vertical line have a higher one and done than the industry. All right, so one and done means people who bought Dodge vehicles decided to try something else the next time they went and bought a car. That's why they're way over here on the right. Whereas people who buy a Subaru or a Toyota or a Ford, I wouldn't have figured that, are likelier to buy the same vehicle again the next time they buy one. Look at Tesla, way over here, right? Nobody close, and so high up the y-axis here. So, yeah, they're picking up business from the competition, and they're keeping it. That's what this chart says. All right. Next, a tweet from Elon Musk. No, but robotaxi will look like the future. So we've gotten a better idea what a robotaxi will look like, and it's not this. And you'll see some of those later on, I think, in this video. If not, it's all over X. So, you know, just follow some good people and scroll your feed for a while. Here's one from Tesla Historian. This day in Tesla Q history, he had no idea what was about to happen. Now, don't get confused. This is not Car News with an S at the end. This is Car New, the parody account that has called itself Account Suspended as its profile description, which is kind of funny. On September 9th of 2019, so 4 years ago, tweeting, "I can't believe this stock keeps rallying." Oh, well, if you thought it was hard to believe how much Tesla had rallied to this point, you probably needed a lot more headache medicine than the pictured primate in this photograph when 2020 and 2021 were over. Because, wow, that's at the scale of the current stock price, that wasn't very much of a rally that you were talking about back then. Yeah, Tesla Q they really thought Tesla was overvalued at these levels. That is what they were all saying. They were saying this stock is tremendously overvalued. It was valued below $50 billion. Now it's valued over $700 billion. And of course they're still saying it's overvalued, but they were wrong back in 2019. All right, with my glasses cleaned, I will proceed to the next tweet. From Stephen Mark Ryan, who tweeted, "We can learn two things from this. If you produce one category killer per category, you will win. Model Y is outselling the number 3, 4, and 5 EVs combined. Model 3 is almost outselling 4 and 5 combined. The future of the global vehicle market is Tesla number 1, Chinese EV makers number 2 through number 10. Also worth noting, the Wuling Hongguang Mini is a death machine on wheels and costs about as much. Oh, it doesn't cost very much, is what I'll say there. It's an extremely affordable vehicle. You can buy about 11 Hongguang Mini EVs for what one Tesla Model Y costs, is how I've said it in the past. So yeah, here's Holmar's catalog being retweeted by Stephen Mark Ryan saying the world's best-selling battery electric vehicles. If you total up the whole planet, Which EVs are selling the best? The Model Y is number 1. The Model 3 is number 2. BYD Atto 3, their least expensive BYD, I think, and maybe the only one they're selling in Europe, as well as in China. BYD Dolphin, Wuling Hongguang Mini EV, and you can see, well, you can't actually see from the scale here. This thing is tiny. This is a little baby size golf cart of a vehicle with the cutest little teeniest back seat you ever saw in any vehicle. Yeah, you take a full-grown adult and stand them next to this thing, and the roof comes up to, you know, their waist, right? That is not a large vehicle. So I like that tweet. The next tweet that I liked came from Brad S. Ferguson. Once again, here we are at Gigafactory, Texas with R6 Alex. This is Xander Sky, and Compulize, Compusweet Little Lies, will Compulize. So, good to see them enjoying some sunlight outside the Gigafactory, Texas headquarters of Tesla. Here's a tweet from Matthew Donegan Ryan at MatthewDR, up close and personal with the Tesla Cybertruck. This vehicle will be a moving billboard for Tesla. I'll run very quickly through these photos of the Cybertruck if I can get through them quickly. Alright, so here's your button on the back. On the left side, as you look at the tailgate area of the Cybertruck, you've got this arrow to open the vault cover, this down arrow to close the vault cover, and this button to release the tailgate locking latch. So that's how you get in if you are standing close enough to your Cybertruck that your phone key enables these buttons to be pressed. So that's how you get into the vault cover area of your Cybertruck. Those buttons are right over here. And yeah, check it out. There's a Cybertruck. CGI IRL, people often say. And here's where the side repeater camera gets hidden in one of these flares that surrounds the tires. So yeah, good tweet there. Here's another one from Holmar's blog that I liked. Luxury in quotation marks. What is this? Come on, what is this 7-inch LCD display doing here? This doesn't look good. What are these? Big plasticky air vents? What are all these click buttons? What are all these cheap plastic single function click buttons doing on my luxury automobile? Why are there 3 or 4 binnacles over here? What is this, a CD player? What is going on with the interior of this Mercedes-Benz? Why do people think this is a luxury vehicle and a Tesla isn't? Wow. So here's one from Scott Palamas. I'm probably mispronouncing Scott's last name. Sorry, Scott. I like this tweet, though, from retweeting Calvin Klesmith. Drove a Tesla on the field too. Tesla Family Day game, so lots of people from Gigafactory New York here. So a little bit of advertising from the Gigafactory New York team at a minor league baseball game. So you can see on the screen they rolled a video, which may as well be a commercial. May as well be a TV commercial for a Tesla. So this was the first tweet in the thread, and the one we already saw was the reply to it. But there you go. This is kind of a preview of what we may see more of from Tesla in the future, is a little bit more product awareness advertising on Teslas. All right, the next tweet that I liked, another one from Tesla Historian, from Libra B103. So if you want to know why Matthew Battle chose the Twitter handle at Libra B103, it's his zodiac sign, the first letter of his last name, his shoe size, and his IQ. Super easy to remember. All right. Yes, we call it filling a 2-year backlog. Being onto something is being able to sell 17,000 units a month worldwide, let alone in the U.S. EV adoption tweet replied to him, I know you often cite declining S and X sales in international markets, but the interesting thing is because the Model 3 is a smaller sedan, it could do incredibly well around the globe, as there truly isn't a competitive sedan, but only time will tell. Enjoy the ride. What did Matthew reply? He said the problem is not only price, but being an EV. You might be lucky to see 50 or 60,000 of them being sold yearly after the backlog is cleared. So Matthew thought that Tesla would be lucky if they could sell 50 or 60,000 Model 3s per year. And because it was 2018 and there were no Model Ys on sale yet, he's including Model Y in that number. So Tesla's selling about 1 million Model 3 and Model Y vehicles over the trailing 4 quarters, and that number is going to increase. What's this other one here? January 1st, 2019 is going to be a shock to many people who think Tesla is going to be able to sell more than a few thousand EVs a month, let alone thousands of one model. People will be shocked how low of a demand the Model 3 will see overseas. And it's the number one selling EV in Europe the following year, so 2019. Good stuff. All right, here's one from Alexei Voigt. Statements made at the IAA in Munich this week. The car is becoming a smartphone on wheels. Volker Wissing, Federal Minister of Transport and Digital Infrastructure. What's Oliver Zipse, Chairman of the Board of Management at BMW, say? The car will not be a computer on wheels. Get your stories straight, guys. If you're both going to be presenting at the same event, maybe don't directly contradict each other would be fabulous. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. So here's this again, being retweeted by Sawyer Merritt. A Tesla ad was shown at the Solon baseball field in Buffalo, New York during a game today. Tesla Giga New York employees were celebrating Tesla Family Day there. They threw out the first pitch and brought a Model Y onto the field. So there's the extra info that goes with that. Here's another one from Sawyer. Some people think Tesla's competitors will reach full autonomy soon after Tesla does. Read this quote from Walter Isaacson's new article, and you'll see one reason why that's not likely to happen. With a quote from the Elon Musk biography that just came out this week. I'm sure we'll see a lot more about that in my likes as we proceed through this. But yeah, Elon Musk latched onto a key fact the team had discovered. The neural net did not work well until it had been trained on at least 1 million video clips. This gave Tesla a big advantage over other car and AI companies. It had a fleet of almost 2 million Teslas around the world collecting video clips every day. We are uniquely positioned to do this, Ashok Elaswamy said at the meeting. So Tesla this past week made its 5 millionth vehicle. So you got 5 million vehicles. And if they're, driving an average of 30 miles per day, you have 150 million miles of real-world data per day access. Who else has a suite of cameras on their vehicles that are already out on the roads collecting data for them? Nobody. Nobody does. So Waymo and Cruise have their own company-owned fleets of employee-driven or driverless vehicles out collecting data from geofenced areas and test sites. That is not the kind of real-world data needed for a car to be able to drive no matter what real-world situation it runs into. But the fleet of 5 million Teslas is out everywhere. Even in places like Alaska, right? Our friend Dr. Earl Banning is driving a Tesla around his corner of Alaska anyway. Even though there aren't a lot of superchargers in that area that he would be able to drive at a long distance, there are still some Teslas out there collecting data, even in really remote, hard to access areas, right? Tesla, I think, is the #1 selling vehicle this year in Iceland, a country where less than 500,000 people live total. Yeah, but there are Teslas there, right? So whatever their unique edge and corner cases are can get fed into Tesla's neural net to learn how to drive everywhere on Earth, right? Other companies don't have that. Like if Waymo and Cruise wanted that, and they didn't want to sell vehicles that had the fleet, that had the cameras on board to be able to collect the data, they would have to send employees to drive their cars everywhere on Earth. This seems unlikely, right? Yeah, so good point there from Sawyer Merritt, which is why I like that tweet. Here's one from Doge Army General at the Tesla Bull. Thanks, James. Sometimes darkness can show us the light. Elon's tough childhood undoubtedly strengthened his love of justice and hope and faith in the future of humanity. He's dedicated his life to good and to be a role model for us all. And that's a little bit at odds with some of the stories that you read in the book about Elon maybe not caring that much about whether he's hurting the feelings of people that he's talking to when he sets high expectations for them or holds people accountable, right? But the thing that Walter Isaacson was very sure to underscore in his narrative is that Elon Musk is mission driven. He believes in the missions of the companies he founded because they're important for humanity writ large, not for individuals who may or may not be in the room with him or standing in front of him, right? He's looking to create a better future for people, plural, and he's not going to let people, singular, stand in his way of accomplishing the goals he sets along the path to achieving those missions. All right, here's one from Gregor Truck. First glance at the $25,000 Tesla or the Robotaxi with the plywood model from Franz von Holzhausen here, just showing how this idea was originally pitched to Elon. There may not even be an other side of this vehicle, right? I'm looking here, there's a front tire here. I don't see a tire on the other side, right? So this is a very conceptual mock-up of, okay, if you wanted to do a robotaxi, you would probably only need it to have 2 seats plus luggage capacity behind it. You don't need a steering wheel, you don't need pedals. You do need a dashboard, I guess, or you may as well put one there. People are used to having one, I guess. But if you can get these doors to rotate up and out of the way, it'll be real easy for 2 people to hop in to a robotaxi like this. Now, why is the seating capacity 2? I think I need to make a separate video on that topic, but it's because it doesn't matter what the average number of people are per fare. It seems like that would be an important question to ask, and that the answer would help you decide what the number of seats needs to be for your robotaxi fleet, but it's not important. What's actually important is the integer distribution of passengers who will be hailing robotaxis. So some of the time it's going to be a party of 1, and some of the time it's going to be a party of 2, and some of the time it'll be more than 2 people who are hailing a robotaxi to get where they're going. It's going to be a large fraction of total fares that are either 1 or 2 parties, 1 or 2 people that need a ride. What does the fleet already have? The fleet already has Model S, Model X, Model 3, and Model Y, all of which seat 4 people minimum, right? So, is there a mismatch between the demand there will be for a robotaxi network versus the existing fleet of vehicles that could be added to that network? Yes, there's overcapacity. Models S, X, 3, and Y have too many seats relative to the number of people who will need to get into the car to go to their destination, right? And those vehicles are heavier than they need to be to get people where they're going. You know, in the case of the Model S and Model X, those are long-range vehicles in almost all cases. And they're just hauling around maybe 1,000 pounds more than is necessary to take that person where they want to go. So what you would rather do is get a smaller vehicle, probably with a smaller pack and with a smaller seating capacity, as your dedicated robotaxi vehicle to make up for the mismatch between the demand and the existing capacity. Those are the thoughts that I'm going to put in that video. You get them in advance because you're a subscriber of mine. But I need to make that video if I can remember to make that video. If I forget to make it a week from now, tell me, hey James, you forgot to make that video about why Robotaxi only has 2 seats. Alright, next tweet from Farzad Misbahi. What a read. I've always viewed childhood trauma as the biggest double-edged sword ever. It teaches invaluable lessons in many respects, but it'll mess you up mentally, sometimes really bad. Thank you, Walter Isaacson and Elon Musk, for the vulnerability. This will help many. Yeah, so both this one and the Doge Army General are reacting to this tweet where I put in, I can't show you all of this. It's going to be this is going to be a 2-hour episode if I read this whole thing to you, because this is a long excerpt from Walter Isaacson's book. So go find this tweet and read through it if you missed it earlier. But yeah, tough childhood for Elon Musk. A lot of adversity he faced growing up. Here's one from Curtis M. at CurtisMC08 on X. My first Tesla Cybertruck sighting on the Las Vegas Strip. It's even more epic in person. Yes, with 4 exclamation points. You know, Curtis probably could have saved himself a few of those exclamation points and put a G and an H in sighting, because he sighted with his eyesight that Cybertruck. That's what he meant to write. But yeah, check it out on the Las Vegas Strip. Cybertruck looks kind of at home. My reply was, where can I find my reply? A pickup truck that turns heads even on the Las Vegas Strip. That is fire. That's fire. If you've got a vehicle that can draw attention away from everything that's already on the Las Vegas Strip, right? There's a lot of stuff competing for your attention on the Las Vegas Strip. So for people to for traffic to stop to look at the Cybertruck, you know you've made something worth looking at when there's so much else vying for your attention on Las Vegas Boulevard. Yeah, here's just a wow from Holmar's catalog, so I gave that a like. Here's one from Herbert Ong, at Herbert Ong. The dispute reflected different mindsets. When I asked Gates why he had shorted Tesla, he explained he had calculated the supply of electric cars would get ahead of demand, causing prices to fall. Alright, so I can't read you this whole thing either, because this is another section of the book that was released early. Elon did reply that Bill Gates also said Tesla Semi was impossible, even though it was literally being driven all over the country. When I asked what battery watt-hours per kilogram and truck watt-hours per mile he was using to reach the conclusion that it's impossible, he didn't have any idea, but he still stuck with his conclusion, even though he had not done any of the math to figure out why it would be impossible to have an electric semi. And of course, Tesla isn't the only maker of electric semis. Other companies make electric semis already. So, yeah, Elon and Bill Gates have butted heads on that issue and others. Here's one from Sawyer Merritt. Imagine touring Giga Texas with Elon Musk, acting all impressed with what Elon's showing you, all while you just lost $1.5 billion because you shorted Tesla stock. Yeah. All right. Here's one from Holmars. Have we tried showing them more ads? Retweeting car dealership guy saying, crazy stat, 50% of Americans are priced out of the car market. Jonathan Smoke, chief economist of Cox Automotive, breaks it down in less than 45 seconds.
About half can only afford about a $400 payment. And it is really difficult to produce a $400 payment in either the new or the used market today because of the combination of vehicle prices and interest rates.
There you go. Vehicle prices and interest rates are pricing half of Americans out of the new car market. They just can't afford more than a $400 per month payment. And as Omar is alluding here, it won't help them be able to afford to spend more than $400 a month on a new car payment if we show them lots of ads. That's funny, and it's a joke, and it's intended to be a joke. But there's truth in that. You can't make cars more affordable by spending more money on advertising. But what you can do is increase awareness among the segment of the market that can afford the payments on a new Tesla. And that's what people like myself are encouraging Tesla to do more of, is help increase awareness about how affordable Teslas are for those who can afford to buy them. Here's one from K10 at Kristen Netton. Despite all the pain from others, Elon turns it on himself and asks more of himself to do better to help humanity instead of sulking in pity and taking it out on others. Remarkably tender-hearted with a sharp, austere shell, we see a good man beating himself to make the most of himself and be useful for this time period of his existence and humanity's. I have huge respect for Elon, and as he rarely fails to embolden others with the big visions he lays out to bring about much-needed change, all while including the little guy. So that was another good reaction to my post of that article CBS News published and nobody saw, so I copied and pasted that over to X, which seems to be the best way to do it. You don't want to leave links in your posts anymore. That used to be fine. Recently, with changes to the algorithm, if you include a link or a tag that goes off of X to some other platform, most of your followers aren't going to see that post. It's going to have its visibility restricted based on X not wanting your newsfeed to just be full of stuff that makes you leave X and go somewhere else, right? What they want is for your feed to be self-contained so that when you're done with the content contained within a post, you just go to the next post on X. You don't find yourself lost on YouTube or some other platform. All right, here's another one from Rodman, South African meat grinder. Not a great dad, not a great place to grow up for a goofy kid on the autism spectrum. Despite all that trauma, Elon knows it made him who he is. Wonder if he would take any of it back or go for an easier life in exchange. Would be a more uninspired world. Book comes out this week. All right, so yeah, a little bit of good insight there from Rodman. Here's one from Rob Maurer at Tesla Podcast. Now, I don't feature a lot of Rob's posts. Rob's not on X all the time. He's not posting constantly. But it should be stressed that you need to consume Rob Maurer's Tesla Daily podcast if you're an investor in Tesla, right? That is part of the standard compendium of knowledge if you want to be up on Tesla current events. You want to get most of your Tesla news from Rob Maurer, Sawyer Merritt, etc. And if you're a big fan of Tesla's products, you want to be listening to Ryan McCaffrey's weekly podcast, Ride the Lightning. But he's also not on X all the time, right? So those are just things you need to pick up over time. Is that those are high quality producers of content that's packing a lot of great info you're probably interested in that you may be unaware of. All right, what's this one say? Tesla produced 80,000 vehicles at Giga Shanghai in August, despite the imminent Model 3 upgrade. Shanghai production increased month over month, including 21,330 Model 3 and 59,502 Model Y. Tesla may be positioned for an incredibly smooth transition to the new Model 3. We'll see how things go from here. So what's this number? Well, let me see if I can make sure I know what's going on here. So one of these is Model 3 and one of these is Model Y, right? So the first column is Model 3 and the second column is Model Y. So the production is what he's talking about, 80,000, made up of 21,000 Model 3s, 59,000 Model Ys. I think. I don't see the column headers up here, but I think that's what we're looking at. This is about the same as it was in July and about the same as it was in June. And not very different from what it was in April and May. If you average these two together, you would get 81,000, right? So the total rate of production has not dropped. Now, Model Y is up and Model 3 is down. So probably that makes sense given the Model 3 Highland upgrades. But wow, that's really decent. All right, so good tweet there from Rob Maurer. I'll keep going and show you this Lex Friedman post. Here's my conversation with Walter Isaacson, author of the new biography on Elon Musk. So if you didn't watch this interview with Lex Friedman, it will take you 2 hours, but well worth it. Lex Friedman, very skilled as an interviewer. Walter Isaacson spent 2 years with Elon Musk and a couple months, and got a lot of really great stories. He said that's some of the most valuable time he's spent is the time he was with Elon Musk, when he was talking with Farzad Misbahi just yesterday on Twitter Space. Here's one from Tim Murphy. Hey, I'm going to show you 5 projects of $100 million each equals $500 million. By the time he arrived in Austin, he had lost $1.5 billion equals $1,500 million. Gates betting against Musk cost him 15 of his $100 million Save the World pet projects. Yeah, talking about Bill Gates versus Elon Musk again. Gates was trying to get Elon to buy into 5 $100 million charitable donations for 5 different projects that he became aware of, right? Well, he could have funded those 5 plus 10 more with the losses he endured on his Tesla short position. So, come on, Bill Gates. Yeah. Next, a tweet from Mayor Talker at Fresh Jiva. Not sure why FPI only has 5,000 followers. He posts good analysis of Tesla from a macro viewpoint. Yeah, it's weird how some really great Tesla accounts, like First Principle INV, First Principle Investor, not CFA, don't get lots of followers. Let me just click through here and embarrass First Principle investors. Yeah, 5,000 followers is far fewer than this account deserves. So if you're not following this account, maybe go follow them and get insight to good analysis. This account has been putting out solid Tesla Bull tweets for many, many years now, which this is one of that we just saw. Here's a video from Bradford Ferguson, another one of his posts that I liked this week. Tesla up 6.9% because of Walter Isaacson, not Adam Jonas at Morgan Stanley. Got credit for Tesla being up a lot. It was probably a combination of the two. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that... Sorry, when I talk for a long time, sometimes I get something stuck in my throat and I have to drink some of my coffee here. I hope that most of the people who read Walter Isaacson's Elon Musk biography come away with more respect and appreciation for what Elon has accomplished and less hate for his wealth or brashness, or that they disagree with him on some stuff. Like, where is it written that you have to agree with every opinion somebody has in order to like them? That doesn't seem like a winning strategy for life. I thought diversity was a good thing. Diversity of thought, diversity of opinion should help to refine the validity of opinions in a free and open market of thought. Here's one from Roland Percher at PILOLY. Tesla sold 205,000 vehicles in Europe this year through July. Tesla's growth compared to the same period last year is a multiple of the other automakers. Now, we're not talking about EVs here. We're talking about total vehicles. Here's Tesla up 134% from whatever this number was last year, year-to-date July, to this number, year-to-date July. So Tesla in Europe is outselling Nissan, Volvo, Mazda, Suzuki, Jaguar Land Rover, Honda, and Mitsubishi, each of those brands. I was surprised to see them trailing Ford. I don't think of Ford as being a huge seller in Europe, but I guess Tesla is gaining. I mean, I guess Ford has a bunch of brands that are Europe only or something. I don't know. But all these other ones that are ahead of Tesla have grown by 25% or less. Tesla has grown by 134%. So, good takeaway from Roland there. Here's one from Steven Spencer, another account that doesn't have as many followers as they deserve, at @Spencer_SMB. As expected, Tesla Q losing their minds over the Morgan Stanley Tesla upgrade. The working theory is Morgan is worried about Elon's margin loan. That is a clownish opinion. That's illustrating very little understanding of how investment bankers work. Yeah. So there's that tweet. Here's one from Warren Redlick. He may not be in the arena, but Walter Isaacson sure writes well. I like that tweet. Here's one from Oracle Investments at OracleTim1. As a child, I was picked on and bullied for being the quiet kid. I was nowhere near to the extent of what Elon went through, but those memories still resonate in my head. They are a big part of what drives me. I'm not one to fight back. I'm just one to work hard to prove them wrong. Elon is a great example of taking childhood trauma and using that pain to drive him to benefit others. So, yeah, that's what you want from someone who has been handed a lot of lemons, is for them to make lemonade. Here's one from Rebellionaire at Rebellionaire3 on X. When Tesla Giga Beer was introduced, we thought the shape was a little odd. Now we know why. Easter egg for Robotaxi? Alright, so here's your Robotaxi. We saw the plywood version earlier. This is the version that was in the book. You can see the door swings up at a diagonal angle, I'm guessing, is the only thing that could make sense for this door opening to be in that position open. So you can just step right in and sit down. Yeah, and maybe they're going to cover this rear wheel on the sides so that it's more aerodynamic, gets better efficiency. That would be smart. These pie pan hubcaps are also a good idea for efficiency, right? You want maximally efficient robotaxis if they're going to be doing time on the interstate at high speed, right? And here's the Giga Beer shape. they do kind of look alike, right? They kind of feel like the same idea. So that was the Giga Beer container. For the short period of time that you could buy Giga Beer, I'm not sure those are available anymore. Here's one from at Tesla SG, which I think is for Tesla Singapore. What would you have if you invested $1,000 in 2018 in all of these things? So Bitcoin, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, gold, Coca-Cola, and Tesla. Well, by the time 2020 rolled around, Tesla would be the best investment from your money. Then Bitcoin did a little better for a while, and then Bitcoin has not done as well lately. So this runs through 2022. 2022, not the best year for Tesla. Tesla had some down days. But then once we get to 2023, Tesla has done a lot of appreciating in value this year through August. So Nvidia also made a really strong comeback there. Nvidia's been on fire for a while. All right, here's one from Political Moron at PolitiMoron on X. When Big Brother says stop reality, you listen. Hashtag Tesla Q. So here's this dumb Tesla Q member at PolitiReality saying huge resistance at 272, headed down the rest of the day. There's literally no verifiable substance to any of Jonas's claim. So Tesla Q hates whenever anybody puts out a note favorable to Tesla, but especially if they know the name of the person behind the upgrade. In this case, it was Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley. And yeah, when even the poser who goes by the fake name Brad Munkin on X tells you, bro, stop, you know you've sent a dumb tweet. Tesla Q member. All right, another one from Whole Mars, the U.S. EV market. Let's take a look at this chart. Well, really, it was a better looking chart before I expanded it. Yeah, so here's Tesla with 60% nearly of the EV market, 59.5%. That doesn't sound like a lot. I think because, you know, the first place your mind goes is to, you know, a grading system or something, and you think, oh, at 60%, that's an F. Well, look at the second place EV seller in the U.S. It's Chevrolet. They sold 39,647 EVs, January through July of 2023. That's 6% of the market. The third place, Ford, 5.2% of the market. The fourth place, Hyundai, 4.3% of the market. BMW's in fifth, 3.5% of the market. Everybody else is single digits. Nobody has more than 6% of the market except Tesla, who has 60% of the market, 10 times more market share than the second place seller of EVs in the US. And then you've got just laughable low numbers here. After about 20th place, you can't even visualize the bar. That's how few. VinFast is down here with their multi-$100 billion valuation. That seems like the biggest no-brainer short in the history of the world until you find out that there's almost no float at all. So this can be easily manipulated by the person who owns most of the equity in the company privately. You know, a very tiny fraction of VinFast's total equity is being traded at all. And the more crowded the short position becomes, the likelier a short squeeze is if the private equity owners decide to start buying back a lot of shares and forcing margin calls on the short sellers. So probably this is a good one to just stay away from, knowing that is a risk. Okay. Here's one from Sawyer Merritt with a video featuring Ron Barron saying he and his funds own $4.7 billion worth of Tesla shares, and that he thinks the stock could reach a $1,350 per share stock price in the next 7 years. I'm not going to bet against Ron Barron. He's made many, many $billion investing over the years, and he was an early investor in Tesla. He saw potential when a lot of investors did not, and has been rewarded for his bravery. Here's one from Richard Hanania. Maybe I'm saying that right, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Journalists. Turns out Elon Musk is dumb. Scientists and engineers. The stuff I have seen him do in his head is crazy. He can solve all these equations in real time. He did not know anything about rockets. Nothing. That was in 2001. By 2007, he knew everything. Everything there was to know about rockets, according to one of the world's leading rocket scientists, right? There's this dumb idea out there that Elon Musk is a fraud and is pretending to be good at rockets, except he goes and attends the International Aeronautical Congress and stands on stage for half an hour at a time taking unscripted questions from honest-to-God rocket scientists who are leading competing companies, right, and answers all of their questions to their satisfaction, right? That is not something a fraud would attempt to do, let alone successfully accomplish, right? Here's one from Nick Sortor. Sorter? I don't know how to say that name. There are two types of billionaires in this world. One is Elon Musk, who shipped over 650 Starlink internet kits to 40-plus organizations across Maui in order to reconnect victims. The other is Oprah, who's funneling money into one of her organizations from middle-class folks on social media. I haven't met a single person here on Maui that's gotten a dime from Oprah, but I've met dozens that are benefiting tremendously from SpaceX's internet connection. Is it too much to ask Oprah, who owns over 2,200 acres on Maui, to step up? If anyone's received anything from Oprah personally, please let me know. I'd love to speak with you. But I don't think there were a lot of replies from people who got any money from Oprah or assistance of any kind in Maui. So I like that tweet. It's not just in Ukraine where Elon Musk is helping out with free internet. It's in Maui as well, after their terrible wildfires last month. Here's one from Scott Walter, PhD, at Going Ballistic 5 on X. But Elon Musk should have contacted the U.S. government on Ukraine's behalf. Wrong. FARA violation, Foreign Agents Registration Act. Elon is not a registered agent of Ukraine. Think FARA is a paper tiger? Ask Mike Flynn, Paul Manafort, or even Hunter Biden about that one. Given constant calls from the left to arrest and investigate Elon, should he have risked that one? If NATO and the U.S. really wanted Ukraine to sink the Black Sea Fleet, they would have provided the weapons to do so. But they deemed it unwise to do so and provocative. Yet when Elon comes to the same conclusion, he is a traitor and a criminal. Probably a Logan Act violation, too, if Elon did not have express permission. I'm sure the SEC would have invented one, too. Again, I fully support Ukraine, but not this way. Yeah, it would have been a violation of the law for Elon to have activated service in Crimea, where an Obama-era executive order imposed sanctions against the Russian-controlled portion of Ukraine known as Crimea, right? Here's one from Steve Hamel. What is often not mentioned is that by activating Starlink over Crimea, SpaceX would have broken OFAC's sanctions on Russia and Crimea. Doing that would have been a U.S. federal crime. Only way to circumvent would have been via an explicit OFAC license, or maybe the White House has authority to give permission. Are Senator Warren and others advocating that SpaceX and Elon Musk purposely break federal law? Yeah, I mean, leave it to Congress people to investigate people who are making the only legal decision available to them, right? So yeah, if the President of the United States had told Elon that he should activate service over Crimea, he would have, he said in an interview with the All In podcast. But that didn't happen. right? Elon does not have to take orders from the president of Ukraine. That's not a thing. Elon is not governed by Ukrainian law. He is governed by American law and is an American citizen. Here's another one from Herbert Ong. Model 3 Plus is the official name of the refreshed Model 3 Highland. I have trouble remembering that. My personal opinion is that there are too many things that have been branded as something plus, and that it's super unoriginal, uncreative, and uninspiring for more people to brand stuff as whatever plus. That needs to stop happening. Is my personal opinion on the matter. I'm fine with Tesla naming the thing Model 3 Plus. It's just not what I would have branded the refresh. I think Model 3 Highland would have been a much better name for it. They could have just stuck with the project code name. But there is some value to having branding that translates well into lots of languages, and maybe that's one of the reasons so many people like the Plus. Another one from Steven Spencer here. Ron Barron, large Tesla shareholder, now on CNBC, saying Gen 3 vehicle from Tesla will cost 50% less to produce and presents huge threat to automotive industry profitability. And somebody did some math here, so I think we'll see that later on in this video. As we near the 1 hour mark of this video, I don't think we're close to the last tweet that I liked. This one was from September 13th, and today is September 17th, so we got a few more left to go. Here's one from Car Dealership Guy at Guy Dealership. Biggest price drops since January. Tesla Model S, Model Y, Model X, and Model 3 are the top 4 vehicles that have been reduced in price by the most as a percentage, followed by the Dodge Durango, Hyundai Ioniq 5, Dodge Charger, Kia EV6, Dodge Challenger, and Chrysler 300, rounding out the top 10. So Teslas have become a lot more affordable, is the positive spin on that. It's not going to help Tesla earnings that they've dropped the prices by this much, but it will help deliveries. And it may still help earnings dollars. That remains to be seen. We'll hold out hope that Tesla earnings in 2023 will beat 2022 earnings dollars. Matt at Oddball Neuron replied to me, "You're like a one-man community notes." What was this about? It was at Left Hand Pole, longtime Tesla hater, short seller probably, talking about how Elon is a drug addict and a pretend engineer, compound noun, popular in the Tesla Q community a few years ago before it became obvious that Elon isn't pretending. He's actually a very good engineer. How much money have you lost shorting Tesla? Was my reply, with left-hand pole here saying, I'm doing just fine in my Tesla short on August 25th of 2020, right before Tesla stock split 5 for 1. He was shorting Tesla, saying, enjoy your gains while you can. It'll be a hard way to learn that fraud can't last forever. And that there's 90% downside to current valuations from the 2020 valuation, which was way less than $100 adjusted for splits. A little surprised to see Hyundai Kona Electric in the parking lot here. I didn't realize they were on sale in the US yet. There may not be a single Tesla killer yet, but this will be death by 1,000 cuts as people buy alternatives. Oh yeah, there's lots of inferior EVs that are going to kill Tesla, goes the theory. And this was August of 2020 right here, so less than $100 worth of share price. He was short there. I don't know where he covered, but there was only a brief moment in time when Tesla got close to $100 per share again. Alright, what's the next tweet that I liked? It came from Short Shorts Historian. retweeting a screenshot of ERIS35. I still think GM could kill Tesla in one swoop. Cancel your Model 3 reservation for $3,000 off a new Bolt. Well, Chevy had to discontinue that Bolt. They're back with another Bolt, a totally refreshed Bolt that doesn't catch on fire as often. But yeah, that was the conventional wisdom of the Tesla Q community back in 2016. Another one from Sawyer here. At Ford's presentation tonight, it really seemed they wanted you to think their trucks are the most American made, but Cars.com ranks the F-150 Lightning as only the 38th most American-made vehicle in the U.S., and the ICE version as the 61st most American-made car. Tesla is the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 most American-made vehicle, and Tesla makes 4 vehicles. All 4 made the top 4 most American-made list. The Cybertruck will likely be in the top 10, making it the most American-made truck from a US-based automaker, because I guess none of the rest of the 10 are pickup trucks. So, really great post from Sawyer there. He's pretty good at this Twitter stuff. Another one from Holmars here. Right now, the interior of my car is 100 degrees, but when I get inside, the interior will be cool and AC will be blowing out of the seats. Never get into a car that's too hot or cold again with Tesla mobile app remote control. I do this almost every time I drive my Tesla. I turn on the AC before I get in. I'm in Florida, and it gets hot here, especially in the summer, and especially if your Tesla is parked outside in the sunshine. Go ahead and start the AC 3 minutes before you get in the car, and it'll be cold when you get in. So it's a great feature from Tesla. Here's one from Jimma at James Dowma. People who try to key a Cybertruck will be ruining their keys. Elon replied, we might be able to offer an optional tungsten carbide coating, which is basically scratch-proof to everything below diamond hardness. Hard shell greater than hardcore, James replied. Yeah, that would be fun. Now, I don't know how much an optional tungsten carbide coating would cost, but man, it sounds cool. All right, next a tweet from Mayor, once again. Weird, I don't see Tesla overvalued at all, even if it is just a car company. Simple math gets you to $75 billion net profit just from 10 million cars and trucks and a 100 gigawatt hour Megapack division. Even without software margins beyond what they already do today, a 30x multiple would give you a $2.25 trillion market cap, or a 3x over the next 7 years. This doesn't require any imagination, just extrapolation of today's numbers. This is even if the Tesla bot and full self-driving / robotaxi, even if robotaxi doesn't work. If both of those programs crash and burn and get abandoned, you would still have the existing automotive business, which Mayor lays out a valuation for on the back of the napkin in that post. Here's another one from Sawyer. I was talking with Walter Isaacson about a quote from his book. 4 months later, the new system was ready to replace the old approach and become the basis of FSD 12, which Tesla plans to release as soon as regulators approve. I asked him, previous FSD beta releases didn't need regulatory approval. Are you suggesting that because Tesla wants to remove the beta label, that it will need regulatory approval? And Walter said yes. So I would add a grain of salt to this. I liked the post on the chance that it's right, but I will allow for the possibility that we shouldn't expect Walter Isaacson to be an FSD expert, like sitting with Elon through a bunch of meetings doesn't mean he has the same understanding of it as Elon or Ashok, and he would readily admit that. So I hope that's the case, and I liked the tweet because I wanted to show it to you in case you missed it, dear subscriber. But I'm not going to 100% guarantee you that the next version of FSD 12 will strip off the word beta and allow you to not pay attention or whatever your other assumptions might be that would logically follow. Here's one from Elon replying to me. Let's show you the post first before I show you Elon's joke. I said, happy 7-year anniversary to short seller Jim Chanos' prediction that Tesla would go bankrupt if it merged with Solar City. That's what these screenshots say. So back here on September 13th of 2016, Jim Chanos, founder and managing partner of Kynikos Associates LP, the Greek word for cynic here, predicted that the proposed merger between solar panel company Solar City Corporation and electric car maker Tesla Motors Corporation would bankrupt the latter company. Chanos is short both Tesla and Solar City. So Tesla bought Solar City at a premium. So Chanos lost money on both of these short bets. He has been bearish on Tesla since at least 2013 when he called Tesla a cult stock. Well, the cult keeps getting bigger, Jim Chanos. So here's another one showing the same thing. Chanos said it would be the height of folly for Tesla shareholders to vote to bail out Solar City, which he added has an uneconomic business model. All right. What else is in here? When reminded by the panel moderator that Tesla never seems to have trouble raising equity or debt, Chanos responded, until they do. Yeah, Elon is going to be unable to find anyone willing to fund Tesla in the future, is what Jim Chanos believed. Really? The guy has the numbers in his cell phone of a dozen billionaires. You think if Morgan Stanley decided not to issue Tesla alone, he would just throw his hands up in the air, admit defeat, and declare bankruptcy? Yes, Jim Chanos is that stupid. He thought that. So Elon replied with 2 laughing emojis saying Jim Chanos should change his name to Thanos since half his fund disappeared. Jim Chanos snapped his fingers and dusted half his assets under management. That's a high-quality joke that got 2,846 other likes besides mine. So that's great to see Elon sending tweets like that one. And then he followed it up with, the years really fly by. Remember this kid? This is him now. If you don't know who Thanos is, this is Thanos wearing his gauntlet. All right. Next is a tweet from Tom Randall that I liked at TS Randall. Longtime contributor to Bloomberg. We're up to 1 million fully electric vehicles a year in the U.S. The accelerating pace of EV adoption has been relentless. And as we saw earlier, 60% of the EVs sold in the U.S. are Teslas. So this line would be less than half the height if Tesla didn't exist. Well, I mean, it would be near zero if Tesla didn't exist at all, right? Because the competitors would have been more successful in curbing legislation to require EV sales. They would have said, hey, the market just doesn't want EVs, because there wouldn't have been any compelling EVs on the market for people to buy. And the world would have spent a lot more time before transitioning to EVs. All right, next is a tweet from Ramesh R. at Res, M-E-R-A-M. When I was young, was a big fan and sketched this sitting on a bench when I was bored in New York City. You can see there is a vulture named Chanos flying over Solar City at the bottom right corner. So this is pretty funny. So yeah, here's the vulture named Chanos circling above Solar City on this sketch from Ramesh of Elon here with Boring Company, Tesla battery cells, Tesla Semi. Here's the Model X. Here's SpaceX, rockets, starships. This is Bob Lutz over here, I guess, as another one of the vultures. We got tweets up here. Maybe that would become a larger part of Elon's life. We've got the Roadster in space orbiting uh, the sun. And we've got parachutes over here for the Dragon capsule coming back down to Earth. And we've got trees that are happy that Elon Musk exists because they can breathe better with less fossil fuel emissions in the air that they're trying to convert back into oxygen again. All right, here's another one from Tom. Fully electric cars are smashing all kinds of records in the U.S. 1 million sold in 12 months, 3 million cumulative, 7% nationwide market share, relentless acceleration in pace. So yeah, if you think EVs aren't catching on, well, here's the chart. It looks exponential to me. I don't know. It looks like an S-curve. It looks like people are going to keep buying more and more EVs each year than they did the year before. To me, I could be wrong. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. Here's one from Gemma at James Dalma. The real robotaxi trolley problem. Act to automate driving ASAP and be responsible if someone is harmed by your imperfect system, or wait for a perfect system knowing that each day of delay costs thousands of lives. All right, what do you want to do? Do you want to wait until a driverless robotaxi is 1,000 times safer than a human driver before you make them illegal? No, that's stupid. Why would you let human drivers keep basically murdering each other on the highways? In the U.S. alone, it's 40,000 people per year who die in traffic accidents. If robotaxis are twice as safe as a human driver, and if you can replace all human drivers with driverless vehicles, you can't right away for practical reasons, but if you could, you would save half those lives. So half as many people would be killed by driverless cars if they were twice as safe as a human driver. So it's irresponsible for you not to make it legal for those robotaxis that are twice as safe as humans to be allowed to drive. That's the problem. Yeah, why do you want to let human drivers run over these 5 people if you can let driverless robotaxis run over this one person? If you can cut the fatality rate by 80%, so from 40,000 Americans per year to only 8,000 Americans per year, isn't that an improvement? Isn't that better? Yes, but there will still be people who say, isn't it terrible that robotaxis went from killing 0 people per year to killing 8,000 Americans per year? That's gonna happen, and those people will need to be shown the facts on the matter. Here's one from Ball Jabpal at CAESIOUSLY on X. This has my vote for Elon Musk's best reply. I actually did LOL. So I retweeted Elon's joke saying, don't bet against Elon or you may lose a fortune shorting Tesla and gain only a solid dad joke at your expense. And I credited the author of Don't Bet Against Elon at Steve Hamel16, who says in his profile, formerly known as Don't Bet Against Elon. I wish he would go back to being Don't Bet Against Elon again, but he's Steve Hamel. And a heck of a nice guy, too. I did spend some time with him a couple of years ago. Here's one from Rob Maurer at Tesla Podcast. Had a blast chatting with Walter Isaacson about his time with Elon Musk and the biography published this week. Full conversation is here on X, so check out that interview with Walter if you haven't already. So you got a Lex Friedman interview you need to watch, and you got a Rob Maurer interview you need to watch. Rob asks questions that are not repetitive. One of his biggest pet peeves is to ask people the same questions they get asked all the time by other people. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to ask people new questions, and does a good job of it. Here's one from Elon replying to Farzad Misbahi. Walter spent a lot of time with me in meetings, but much less time walking the factory floor. Tesla and SpaceX factories have a great vibe. We encourage playing music and having some fun. very important for people to look forward to coming to work. We pay more than the UAW, by the way, but performance expectations are also higher. Quite a few of our factory techs who work on the line have become millionaires over the years from company stock grants. So before you go and cite this part of what Elon said to a lot of people, I don't know by what measure Elon believes Tesla pays more than the UAW. Many other sources have claimed that the UAW is paying more than Tesla is. So I guess there's just a bunch of different ways you could define and answer that problem. And maybe there's just a lot of disagreement about what the best methodology is to determine who's getting paid more, Tesla workers or United Auto Worker employees, union members. So yeah, if you want to be a billionaire, you have to join Congress and start doing some insider trading, Farzad said to somebody who replied here, asking, can I work there too and let me be a billionaire instead of just being a millionaire? Yeah, no. So the start of this post was Farzad saying, while Legacy Auto is dealing with this, meaning the strike, Elon Musk and his team are walking all over the factory floor, asking the questions like, why is this here? Does this need to be here? Who put this here? Over and over and over again. Think about that for a second. Yeah, the UAW can't think of anything better to do with their workplace than demand ever higher wages for the work that they're doing, which, is a thing. Like, I mean, who can fault people wanting to be paid as much as possible, right? That's not the problem. That's happening all over the world all the time. It is the job of the company to do their level best for their investors to acquire labor as reasonably as possible, and there must be some reconciliation of that for the company to continue operating. Here's one from Ron Barron. Nope, from Tesla Economist at Tesla Economist. And the post reads, Ron Barron Model 2 math. Model 3 ASP $42,000. Model 3 cost of goods sold $35,000. Model 2 cost of goods sold half as much as the $35,000. So half the Model 3 cost would be a $17,500 vehicle. If you can charge $28,000 for that, we're calling it a Model 2 here, a $25,000 car that you charge $28,000 for, then you would have $10,000 profit left over. Now, if you charge $25,000 for it, you have $7,500 left over. So, it's $20,500 after tax credits. Okay, so if you knock off the $7,500 tax credit, then it's not even a $25,000 car. It's a $20,500 car at the point of sale, beginning in 2024, when Tesla sales centers and dealerships that sell EVs will be able to apply the discount at the point of sale rather than making you file it on your following year's tax return to get the money. So just an interesting way of valuing that. Here's one from Sam Corris. There is enough capacity to convert the entire U.S. vehicle fleet to electric with a 30% buffer. Crude math on the grid and charging. U.S. annual vehicle miles traveled. It's a big number. So this is millions, that's billions, this is trillions. So 3,276 billion annual miles traveled, with the daily vehicle miles traveled of 9 billion. Let's just call that number 9 billion, please. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Miles per kilowatt hour, 4 kilowatt hours needed for daily vehicle miles traveled. This is 2,244,000,000. Flattening the electricity curve shown below, you need 3 billion kilowatt hours. Remove solar and wind, that's 3 billion kilowatt hours. So you get about a 1.3. There are caveats, and this is crude, but gets the point across. The grid is also changing quickly, and more energy storage helps make wind and solar less intermittent. The future is more energy, not less, and that energy should be renewable. So there is some question about, hey, can renewable energy be more efficient than a lot of the combustion-based energy generation we have in the U.S. today and globally? And if you account for that too, then the grid already has enough electricity to convert from fossil fuels to electric vehicles. All right, here's one from Sawyer Merritt News. Tesla has revealed the world's 50,000th supercharger is painted in a special red color. Check it out. So they did find the 50,000th supercharger after Tesla sent out that tweet, which we may see in another one of the tweets here before this video ends. Here's another one from Whole Mars. Optimus never asks for a 40% raise. That's just true. So a lot of companies are going to want to buy a lot of Tesla bots if Tesla can figure out how to make Tesla bots that can learn how to do repetitive work, right? Why would you pay a human being who wants to go on smoke breaks and meal breaks and show up to work late and need a lot of vacations and holidays and get paid overtime when you could buy a robot to do their job and have them work 16 hours at a stretch every day? Yeah. It's just, it seems pretty obvious that that's a thing you should build if you can. Step 1, demand a 40% raise. Step 2, get a 100% pay cut because the company you work for goes bankrupt because it could not afford to pay you an extra 40%. RIP. Yeah, Ford and GM do not have enough earnings that they could pay everyone who works there 40% more and still have any profit left over. So it'll be interesting to see how this strike pans out for the workers and for those companies. I mean, I can't imagine a scenario where Ford and GM are earning more money following this than they already do, because they're not selling more cars, right? They're not going to get there with volume increases, and they're probably not going to get there with price increases in an interest rate environment like we have. So how could they be earning more following these strikes than they were earning before if they have to settle on higher wages? It doesn't make sense. Thank you, Sean Fain, for helping to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy by shutting down SUV and truck assembly plants. That's kind of funny. Sean Fain, the head of the UAW, who decided which factories would be on strike. It's not all of them. It's only some of them, interestingly. Breaking, says Stephen Mark Ryan, the UAW's mission to accelerate the Detroit Three's transition to bankruptcy. I'll move on from that topic for now. I know people have different opinions about the UAW and the unions and the strike. Here's one from Gavin Shoebridge at Kiwi EV. My face when a person who many years ago told me matter-of-factly that those electric cars will never work suddenly messages me asking what EV they should buy. I remember when you didn't think electric cars could ever work, and now you want me to tell you which one to buy. All right, here's one from S.E. Robinson Jr. SpaceX says 2 to 3 weeks. Want to know what is happening with Elon Musk's companies today? Here you go. All right, so if you like the format of this video that you're watching right now, then you may want to follow S.E. Robinson Jr. to see posts like this one where he inserts photos and goes through Tesla news that I have probably missed. So you can pause this and read through all the stuff that he mentioned in this post. I just wanted to click like on it when I saw it because you may be the kind of person interested in reading tweets like this. It's a good post. Here's one from Martin Vieca responding to Sam Corus. The other thing to highlight is that it takes about 18 years to replace the whole vehicle fleet. So even if EV penetration reaches 100% in 2030 of new car sales, the whole vehicle fleet won't be electric until about 2048 or 2050. And even then it won't be 100%, right? Because there will be antique cars that people go to great personal expense to maintain and keep running, right? So 100% is never going to happen. There will always be some combustion engine vehicles, but there'll be a smaller and smaller percentage every year as they exhaust their useful life and get junked. There is enough time to implement all the necessary upgrades. So yeah, even if we did need more power, 20 years is plenty of time to transition smoothly. Here's one from Alex. PepsiCo's Tesla Semi number 3 just did 1,600 miles in a little less than 48 hours. These are all beverage trucks with full-ish loads and minimal empty running. So these are fully loaded semis. Considering the release data with more to come, the Semi indeed achieved an efficiency of about 2 kilowatt hours per mile, which is fantastic. Considering how heavy a Semi is even before you put a trailer on it. And then even before you load that Semi to the maximum legal load that it can carry, it's doing 2 kilowatt hours per mile. I mean, I'm getting 10 times more efficiency than that on my Model 3, but a Semi weighs more than 10 times as much as my Tesla Model 3 does. Fully loaded Semi is going to be over 80,000 pounds, I think, and my Model 3 might be, a ton and a half or something. Or probably less than that, probably less than 3,000 pounds. Somebody say in the comments below exactly how much a Model 3 weighs, if you know. So yeah, here's the battery state of charge and the speed of the vehicle. So the speed is this line that runs up and down to 0 here while it's being recharged, while it's unloading, you can see. And then as it goes at high speed, it draws down its power, and then it stops here. You can see it remained stopped while it was charging here on this curve, and then it went back out on the roads again at high speed and reduced its total state of charge. So cool to see these graphs of the Tesla Semi and this commentary here. Yeah, nearly 80,000 pounds is a full heavy haul for a Pepsi Tesla electric Semi. Working its regular job, replacing a fossil fuel Semi and not belching huge clouds of black smoke on the roadways. Here's one from James Hatfield at _James Hatfield _. Replying to Ars Technica, they changed their profile picture. That automatically hides the check icon. It's policy and has been from the beginning. I don't expect much from Ars Technica anymore. It's been over a decade since you published anything interesting or useful, but this is getting embarrassing. What's getting embarrassing? Their claim that Musk's ex revokes paid blue check from United Auto Workers after strike called. Yeah, Elon didn't say, hey, pull their blue check because they're on strike. And has since been a community note added saying this is incorrect and misleading. Change of profile picture led to automatic re-verification process, which will temporarily remove the check mark. Read in the official help FAQ here for X. So yeah, I imagine the blue check has been restored by now, but good work by James Hatfield getting there before the community note did. So I gave that reply a like. I love when somebody else has done the work for me already and I can just like their post instead of having to research and post one myself. Another one from Tesla Historian here on @Boy2000Fan, DIP Harambe. Still waiting for that Taycan. What's this say? Good idea once Tesla breaks below 100. I'm getting the Taycan. Well, that was before both of Tesla's splits that he mentioned he wanted it to break below $100 per share. So what that translates to after splits is $6.67. DIP Harambe is going to be waiting a long time for the price of Tesla stock to fall below $6.67. That would be a very low market cap indeed, and a bunch of people would be buying the stock if it got there. So you'd have to be pretty quick on the trigger to cover your short position at $6.67 before all those shares got bought up by somebody who wants to own a piece of Tesla. Here's one from Barron's, cover story part 2. So what was in part 1? I liked that one as well. Positive cover story this week by Dow Jones AI on why Tesla is winning the EV wars and the existential threat facing GM and Ford. I can't read all this to you because it's very long. So this video is long enough already. Just about to cross the 1.5 hour mark. So we're 90 minutes into this video. What I will show you is that I replied saying, for those who prefer visuals to columns of text, here's a thread of charts comparing Tesla, Ford, and GM over the past 7.5 years. You can see Ford is selling a fraction of the number of vehicles. They used to sell more than 6 million. Now they barely sell more than 4 million. GM also used to sell more than 6 million. They don't even sell 4 million per year anymore. They've both cut a lot of models from their lineup, a lot of sedans, to focus on pickups and SUVs that they make better profit margins selling. So go check these out if you're interested in reading through them. I'll hit the back button one more time and keep scrolling. We're getting close. Here's one from Jesse Lubbs. It's hard to say Ford and GM grew when they haven't even gotten back to 2019 levels, let alone 2016 sales volumes. They've lost a lot of customers most permanently, as we mentioned earlier. Here's one from @BarkMSmeagol saying, never forget.
How's zero, Dennis?
Well, we think the equity's worthless, so how's zero?
How's zero, Dennis?
Yeah, that's funny. So Chanos was trying to convince people on live television that Tesla stock was worthless, and Bart kept that clip. Another one from Gary Black here. After years of losing money shorting Tesla, famed short seller Jim Chanos and his legion of followers still don't get that current year PE tells you nothing about valuation. Value is the discounted cash flow of all future cash flows, not next year's cash flows, all future cash flows, less net debt or plus existing net cash. What's this last part mean? Gary is adding the stipulation that, hey, if this company has tons of debt, you have to subtract that from the value of their future cash flows because they have to pay that money back. But if the company is sitting on a huge pile of cash, if they have net cash after paying any debt they have, then you should add that cash to the pile, right? If you're buying a company that comes with a huge vault full of cash, then that huge vault full of cash should have been part of your bid to buy that company. All right, next is a tweet from Holmars. I don't want any car without FSD, Omar says here. I can't play you this video, but it's a great video of FSD doing all the driving. Here's one from Gally at G. Filchi, an old school Tesla bull, saying unions do more harm than good now. Always loved that Tesla doesn't need/want one and still pays people a great wage, turning into a big advantage. Yeah, great wage plus stock options. Everybody who works for Tesla gets stock options, which doesn't work the same way if you unionize. You're not going to get stock options the way Tesla pays you in stock options. Retweeting Charlie Balello's UAW demands for a 40% increase in hourly pay over 4 years, a 4-day work week, a faster path to top pay, a shift back to defined pension plans, so they want guaranteed retirement pensions, cost of living adjustments, 5+ weeks of vacation, more paid holidays, and extended parental leave. That's a lot of things to demand from your employer who really can't afford to even do the first one and still have any profit left over at all. What's going to happen to the price of your stock? It's going to collapse, right, if there are no earnings. Earnings growth is what investors want to pay for. Here's one from Robin Wren 14 hours ago. With its relentless 40 to 50% per year growth rate, Tesla's global fleet is doubling roughly every 2 years. Let that sink in. Tesla this week produced their 5 millionth car. Thank you, Tesla owners, for your ongoing support, Tesla said. So yeah, that is a relentless per year growth rate. And Tesla can monetize the vehicles they sell this year in future years when the owners of those vehicles buy full self-driving, either as a software as a service, monthly subscription, or if Tesla continues to allow a one-time purchase that's good forever. I have my own little pet theory that Tesla will at some point stop letting people buy an outright lifetime license for FSD. Here's one from Sawyer. Mr. Beast gets an average of 150 million views per video, so a lot of people will briefly see Tesla's FSD feature in the video, as well as the acceleration of the Model X Plaid. It really takes off when you pound the accelerator, as seen in this Mr. Beast video, one of the most popular channels on YouTube. Here's a great table from Troy Teslike, just clarifying for people the confusing business that is gigacastings. Wait a minute, which models have gigacastings? From which factories? Well, Model S and X at Fremont have two-piece front and rear castings. Model 3 doesn't have any castings anywhere it's made, Fremont or Giga Shanghai. Then Model Y doesn't have castings at Fremont or at Giga Shanghai, but does have one-piece castings at Giga Texas and Giga Berlin for the front. The rear does have a one-piece casting at all production sites for Model Y. So this is a very helpful table, so I gave it a like. Thanks, Troy, for doing that. And here's a post from Dave Lee where he interviewed James Dalma. So I must confess that I have not watched this video, but I just know it's going to be great, which is why I gave it a like. I wish I had the time to watch this 2-hour video. I don't have as much time as I would like to watch these videos. I will try to get to it, though, when I can. Here's another one from Sawyer. UBS has raised their Tesla price target to $290 from $270. They believe Tesla's pricing strategy could potentially provide it with a formidable competitive advantage, allowing the company to expand its customer base. So, is volume growth by itself a worthy end? Yeah, it's great to just take market share, right? Taking market share alone is something you want your company to do. Here's one from Tesla Economics. The path to success is never easy. If anyone says it is, they never achieved it. If you're in the trenches right now wrestling with doubts or on the brink of tears like Elon in this photo, always remember, no one got to where they wanted to be by taking an easy, safe route. So when life gets tough, take a deep breath, pick yourself up, and keep going, because the most meaningful victories lie just beyond the steepest hill. With another photo Walter Isaacson took and included in his video of Elon alone on the line overnight. All right, and the last tweet for this week that I liked came from @TechAU. Check out this earth-shattering coverage from ABC. Teslas don't have combustion engines, so there's nothing under the bonnet. Ah, you guys with your breaking news. That's amazing. There's nothing under the bonnet. Look at this empty space where the engine ought to be. Did I reply to this? Yes, I did. I replied with an old man yells at cloud news clipping, and an old man shakes news clipping out the window at the cloud. That's what's going on if you read this article. This is like one of the most backwards EV reviewers you will ever read. Like, this is somebody who loves their internal combustion engine vehicles and apparently is completely unfamiliar with the concept of an electric vehicle. They couldn't figure out how to open the frunk for 2 days. Folks, that is not that is not a person of average electronics savvy writing this. abc.net.au review of the Tesla Model 3 or Model Y they rented. And that's my video for this week. So with that, I will outro by showing you Loki, who opted not to eat his breakfast yet in today's video. Don't worry, he's going to eat his breakfast. And I will outro and thank you for subscribing, however you did that, via Patreon or X for $3 a month. That's the way I recommend people subscribe to me. Or by joining my YouTube channel as my executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com did. And I'll see you in the next one.